Ultimately, it is not winning, but participating and learning that matters. The 5 schools that have qualified for the finals of Sameeksha are Birla High School, Birla Vidyaniketan, Mahadevi Birla World Academy, South Point High School, and Delhi Public School, Newtown. We have with us Mr. Pornab Mukherjee, our quiz master, who has kindly consented to conduct Sameeksha for us. Mr. Mukherjee is a versatile personality working in the field of debate, quizzing, theatre, media and communication strategies, and several others. Currently, Sir is touring with a traveling theatre and visual installation piece called Axiomatic. We welcome you, sir, and thank you for being a mentor of the Shabd team since 2015. I would like to reiterate and remind the participants about the Zoom quizzing etiquette that need to be followed at all times, failing which marks might be deducted or the participants might be disqualified, depending upon the discretion of the quiz master. Kindly sit in a quiet location with minimal or no background disturbance. Participants should be respectful in use of verbal or written communication at all times. All participants are requested to keep their videos on and their audios unmuted at all times. Participants are required to place their devices at a distance of at least 1 hand from themselves so that their upper torso and hands are clearly visible. There is a hand posture that will be demonstrated by our quiz master, and the participants must follow it at all times, even before the question is asked, failing which the answer will not be considered. The use of earphones will not be permitted at any stage, be it Bluetooth earphones or the usual earphones. Participants are requested to not put on a virtual background at any point during the quiz because we need to be able to see the surroundings clearly at all times. While we do have complete faith in all our participants to not resort to any unfair means, these measures have been put in place to ensure a level playing field for all the schools and that the competition takes place in a fair manner. Please note, the decision of the quiz master is final in all regards. I would now hand over the proceedings to Mr. Mukherjee, our quiz master, and Sir will be explaining the rules of all the rounds. All the best to all the teams. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the kind words and setting the tone for the basic rules of the events which the participants must follow. A very quick addition to an already exhaustive list. First, the suggested posture for the quiz throughout the event is primarily, I'm putting my laptop a little behind the current position. This is your hand posture. This entire hand posture continues throughout the quiz, especially when the question is being asked, so that these 2 hands are clear. They are completely seen, even if there is an involuntary or a voluntary effort in explaining the answer. That's, of course, human behavior. We cannot give an answer primarily this way. But if there is a hand movement, it is here. There are questions about unmuting the microphone in which the other hand could be seen. So either of the 2 hands, depending on what you are adept at. But unmuting in this case is not a possibility because you're unmuted already. So when you're unmuted already, there is no primary hand movement at all. So the question of muting and unmuting doesn't arise at the first place. There will be a little background noise if and when there are places in your house or portions you are sitting and taking part in the quiz from. But nevertheless, as the co-chair, what word would I say? Student coordinator, precisely located the fault lines and the ruptures. See that you are primarily in a place with bare and minimal sound. Of course, that's an eventuality, but nevertheless. Yeah, there was a question, child? You had a question? Somebody had a question? Just a shuffle. Okay. Second, we are going to have 2 rounds of visuals, and 3 rounds of question. It's a 5-round quiz. So there's a round going clockwise, there's a round going anti-clockwise, there's one visual going clockwise, there's one visual going anti-clockwise, and there's going to be a final round of questions where you nominate either one of the two who will say, I'll take the answer. So the first 2 rounds, rather the first round clockwise and the first round anti-clockwise, is going to be a little comprehensive and long because all of you will have individual questions. Questions that don't pass. Question precisely meant for you. If you miss, it comes back to me. Otherwise, of course, you're absolutely free to give a guess, work out an answer, be in the periphery of the right answer, so on and so forth. Similarly, for the visual round, it's a direct question. It's a direct question round, precisely meant for you. I'm just going to quickly ask the student heads if you can tell me which teams from 1 to 6, 1 to 5 to be
Yes, sir.
who is sitting in what chair virtually?
So Birla High School comes first, then we have Birla Vidyaniketan, then Mahadevi Birla.
Just a second, child. I'll just keep a track down. I'll just keep it.
Sure, sir. Till then, I would request Vipayun Nundi to kindly adjust their position so that their upper torso and hands both are visible. And also, I believe Devansh Khanna. Please, thank you.
Okay, I have a paper and a pen now. Right.
Yes, sir. May I start?
Yeah, go ahead, child.
We begin with Birla High School.
Okay, Birla High School is 1, table 1.
Yes.
Table 2,
Birla Vidyaniketan.
BVN Delhi. Just a second, yeah.
Mahadevi Birla World Academy.
Mahadevi Birla World Academy. Table 3. Table 4.
South Point High School.
South Point High School. Just a second. Yeah. Table 5.
Delhi Public School, Newtown.
PPS Newtown. Okay. There we go. Absolutely. That's 1 to 5. 2 things we need from your tech team. Whenever I'm asking a question to a particular child, I'll get the order done just now. If that child can be pinned when the question is being asked. Okay, so that has to be in a constant rotation for those children to be pinned as I ask the question. Because at some point of time, I'll lose track of who to be pinned. So I'll say next team number 2. So the corresponding tech pinning should be done to team number 2.
Noted, sir.
Okay, okay, no problem. So basically rules of the quiz are, it's like a lone wolf, you're on your own, but we of course pair up the scoring for the final result to be given out. BHS, Birla High School, BVN, MBWA, SPHS, BPS Newtown, as goes the flow. Clockwise. Anti-clockwise would be Newtown, South Point, Mahadevi Birla, Birla Vidyaniketan, Birla High School. Okay, fantastic. Can we also know that who's going to take the first question and second question from each team? It'll be easier for tech spotting. So, Birla High School, who's going to go first? Who's going to go second?
So, I'll be going first and my partner Khan will be going second.
Okay. So, tech team, event coordinators, children, if you can keep a track of that. Okay?
Yes,
Adrija,
sir.
if you can keep a track of
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yeah. Birla Vidya Niketan, who goes first, who goes second?
Sir, I'll be going first and Devansh will be going in the second round.
Okay, lovely. We can keep a track of BVN, who goes first, who goes second, please. Madhavi Birla World Academy, who goes first, who goes second?
I'll be going first and Animika will be going for the second.
Okay. That's Madhavi Birla World Academy. South Point High School, who goes first, who goes second?
Sir, I will go first and my other friend Pruttoy Gangopadhyay will go second.
Okay, absolutely. DPS Newtown, who goes first, who goes second?
Sir, I'll be going first. Suresh will go second.
Okay, precisely. So those who are in the tech, just reimagine the flow. They're going first and they're going second. In any case, it's a direct to both of you, separate questions. But just for the sake of the entire continuity, that helps a lot. Okay, we've dedicated this quiz to some of the finest minds of South Asia and the world at large. Questions about them will slip in and out of the quiz. And you will have questions about them because it is a general quiz, as the rule goes, as the invitation letter to you goes, but also a quiz to remember some of the finest minds of South Asia, not in the context of just the anniversary. It's not 250 when you remember Raja Ram Mohan Roy. It's not a 100 years you remember Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Or you don't have to be a centenary, follower to imagine the contribution of Satyajit Ray. Or a 150 years of Abanindranath Thakur. When you look at the larger spectrum of who they are and what they are, one has to be very, very precise over the fact that their contribution is not limited to the particular field they're known from. They're interdisciplinary, they come in different subjects, which is why they are what they are. And which is why, they are such an inspiration for us now and time immemorial. So there'll be questions about them. And of course, there'll be general questions. Visuals, of course, I've tried to see. They're not just visuals. You analyze the visuals and try to arrive at a precise answer, which would be more interesting than who is the person, what is the incident, or why this is happening. That's also there. But that and a little more. So teams, one request, I'm not interested in your right answer. I'm interested in your process. If there is a right answer, of course, there's a reward at the end. It is but natural. But I would still believe working out an answer is what makes quizzing quizzing. Otherwise, quizzing primarily becomes an exercise in class test. So best of luck. Here we go. First one, Birla High School, question number 1. We can start pinning individual children as we go along. I'll just mention the school or school number. We know the school number to which school. We'll look at the scores after a while. I'm sure you're tracking it. There are kids who are tracking it. So we'll have the scores. That's not of paramount importance. Of course, it's of importance. Question number 1. First question for you. This is your direct. Okay, work this out. Desmond Morris, sociobiologist and a painter who's had stint in zoos, who've studied different species to a great extent, give a subtitle to one of his seminal works. The subtitle is A Zoologist's Study of Human Animals. Which important book we are talking about? Desmond Morris. And the book almost changed the way we look at human beings as species.
So can you please repeat the name of the book?
I didn't give the name of the book. I gave a subtitle of the book.
Yes, sir.
A Zoologist's study of human animals. It's a very, very important book. Name the book.
So I've heard of this book. I would like to go ahead with Man Watching. So
Man Watching. Comes back to me. Good try. Very, very good try. This book is called Naked Ape. Naked Ape. So, very, very, very interesting book. It talks about the genesis and the evolution of apes, and finally where we are at in terms of human species. Second question for Birla High School. When you're talking about IPR laws or the whole idea of IPR, the second person from Birla High School, if he or she can be pinned. When we are talking about IPR or IPR laws, both the hands please, child. When we are talking about IPR and IPR laws, then expand IPR.
Intellectual property.
And there's an R going.
Intellectual property right.
Right. Intellectual property rights, IPR, plus 10 Birla High School. We now move to team number 2. First question for team number 2. BVN. Okay, we'll go at team number 2, 3. We of course know which kids are from where. Okay. BVN, this is your question. Middle name is Tintin. Has a seminal effect on how we look at the world. The two hands, child, has a seminal effect of how we look at the world through her lens. Name the personality. Her lens. Both the hands, child, please.
Repeat the question once again.
Tintin, middle name. Very, very important she. We're talking about a lady, a woman. Who's the person we are talking about? I'm not giving the age of the lady, age of the woman. It could be anything, any spectrum. 9 to 90. We are talking about whom? Very well-known personality.
I'm not sure.
Try something, there's no negative marking. I said seminal, I said lens, I said contemporary. And if I didn't say contemporary, let me give you a hint, it's contemporary. Somebody you have come across various times, has a profound effect of the world, especially now, especially to your age group, all age groups, but to your age group mostly.
Can I answer that? Can I answer that?
Of course, 1 second. Let me just disengage the question and then you can answer. Okay, sorry, it comes back to me. Yeah, try.
I think, is it Bianca Castifiore?
No, not Bianca Castifiore.
Sir, can I still answer? I guess.
You can still answer, but not for points.
So, is it Greta Thunberg, I guess?
It is Greta Thunberg. It is Greta Thunberg. Sorry, comes back to me. You won't answer for points, but of course, absolutely. Lovely answer. I tried to give you as much as peripheral hint as possible.
I was thinking of that, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's a quizzing of working out. I'm trying to take the questions to that direction. Okay. Second one for BVN. This is your question. Okay. John Paul Jones, co-founder, member, bassist, keyboardist, name the iconic band. John Paul Jones, co-founder, bassist, keyboardist, name the iconic band.
Beatles?
No. That could be an acronym. There's a John and there's a Paul. But there will be Jones still. John Paul Jones. It's one guy. The answer is Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
Led Zeppelin. Comes back to me. Next, team number 3. Mahadevi Birla World Academy. First one for you. if the participant is there. Yeah, there we are. First one for you. This is your question. It did start a few years before, but the precise trail of events can be, say, traced to 1973. There's a book called People's History about that particular movement which is out. The name of the movement is partially the name of the book. The other book is called People's History, written by Shekhar Pathak. One of the finest books, but book is not the only point. The larger point is it's also a huge social movement. I'll give you one person with the movement, Gaura Devi. Which movement are we talking about?
Can you repeat?
Which movement are we talking about? Your question, MW. Yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
Gaura Devi, 1973, People's History, recent book. Author of the book is Shekhar Pathak. Which movement are we talking about? One more person with the movement. In addition to Gaura Devi, Chandi Prasad Bhatt. Which movement are we talking about? Very relevant when you look at the world now.
This is the Me Too movement.
Which movement?
Me Too.
Me Too, no. Me Too was Time magazine.
Sir, may I?
A little earlier. Yeah, comes back to me. Not for points, anybody?
So
So may I-
Chipko movement.
Chipko, absolutely, absolutely. Chipko movement. Chipko movement had a profound effect on environment. Chandi Prasad Bhatt, and one name I did not give. One name I did not give because he passed away recently. It's my tribute to him, Sundarlal Bahuguna. Sir passed away very recently. I thought that's a giveaway almost. I say Sundarlal Bahuguna. But Shekhar Pathak ji is a legend in terms of environmental history of India. Okay, next one for MBWA. This is for you. Okay, you can work this out. You can work this out. Moshumi Chaudhary and her all-women's group in Purulia's Maldi village entered a male bastion. Now there are 4 groups and did something unthinkable of in terms of tradition, but definitely not unthinkable in terms of legacy. The fact that it didn't happen so many years itself is so surprising. She formed a group. She formed a group to practice something. And that something is basically an art form. That's a hint. So she formed an all-woman group of what? Moshumi Chaudhary, Purulia's Maldi village, all-women group. Chau, absolutely correct. The first all-women Chau group from Purulia. Absolutely, plus 10. We now move to the next 2 questions for South Point High School. South Point, the first one for you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
The participant needs to adjust their position. You can hardly
absolutely,
see.
absolutely, absolutely. If you could kindly adjust your laptop, camera, posture, push the laptop a little behind from where it is. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is your question, South Point. First question for you. South Point Home in the World is a memoir, compendium of names, almost recalling in great detail of a man who's octogenarian plus about precise people and events of his life. Memoir of whom? Whose memoir? Home in the World. And we are not talking about past, we are talking current affairs, child. If you're now in the bookstore, you will find that book prominently displayed. Not that it won't be displayed in future, but I'm just talking about current, off the press. Home in the World. Whose book? It's a compendium. It's a tremendous exercise in memory. in remembering the smallest of the small names in the evolution of somebody?
Sir, I think it will be Amartya Sen.
Absolutely correct. Plus 10. Amartya Sen, home in the world. Absolutely correct, South Point. Second question for you, once more. Second question for you, once more. And this has a little trick, but I'm sure you'll spot the trick. Okay. Charida, Charida, in Bagmundi block in Purulia. Think of the previous answers. Is the hub of what? Is a hub of what? Very, very important cultural tradition of Bengal. Chorida in Bagmundi block in Purulia. There's a previous question on Purulia, and there was an answer called Chau. Take it from there. Take it from there. In fact, the hint is the previous. Think in the lines of the previous answer. Both the
Masks.
Huh?
Masks.
Lovely answer. It's a hub of chow masks in Bengal.
I had went there. I had gone there. I had gone there.
Well, you'd gone there. That's lovely. And if you haven't, that's why it's quizzing. And if you've gone there, lovely. Nothing like it. Absolutely. Chow masks, the hub to make masks. One of the finest mask makers across South Asia. Lovely answer. Plus 10 South Point. South Point gets both of them right. We now move on to the next set of questions for DPS Newtown. DPS Newtown, first question for you. I'm keeping the comprehensive first round largely on things around us. Your question. When you look at Raja Ram Mohan Roy, amongst other things, his collaboration, working, stint with a newspaper / journal called Shambad Dash. Shambad Dash. Fill the blank, child.
Sambad Kaumudi.
Shambad Kaumudi. Absolutely correct. Plus 10. Next one for DPS Newtown. Second one. That's your direct. May 2020, his version of Hanuman Chalisa became the first devotional song to cross 20 billion views in YouTube. Which singer are we talking about? Hanuman Chalisa, May 2020. The singer has a Carnatic lineage. The singer has a Hindustani lineage. The singer has a Ghazal lineage. The singer has a indie pop lineage. Amazing for the extent of which he or she can change the styles. Hanuman Chalisa is one of his works, which means I've given you a hint, it's a he. Who are we talking about? I've given you a hint. Ghazal, indie pop. Indie pop is a duo. The singer is actually collaborating with somebody else as a 2-member band, if that is a hint for you. Okay, Shorish comes back to me. Anything going? Any try?
Is it PB Srinivas?
Yeah?
PB Srinivas.
No. Comes back to me. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, child. Any one of you?
Is it Gulshan Kumar?
Gulshan Kumar passed away. TCD's owner. No. This is May 2020. Gulshan Kumar, it's been a while he's passed away.
Bhushan Kumar.
No. He's called Hariharan. Bhushan Kumar owns T-Series. Why would he sing Hanuman Chalisa, child? Or for that matter, any song. He produces films. He has a wife called Divya Khosla Kumar, who also acts in Hindi films and occasionally sings. Bhushan Kumar won't sing.
Sorry, I got confused between.
That's like me doing gymnastics.
Yes, sir, sorry, I got confused between two things.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Hariharan. Hariharan is a fantastic singer. You should hear his ghazals. He has an indie pop duo called Colonial Cousins with Leslie Lewis, which was once a rage in India. But Hariharan is multi-genre. He sung all kinds. He sung all kinds. We've done one round clockwise. We'll go back to another round anti-clockwise. But before that, the two visuals. Okay, we follow the same pattern. And the first visual for the viewing pleasure of Birla High School. Birla High School maintained the same person 1 and 2. Maintain the same person 1 and 2. Here we go with the visuals. Okay, visual 1. A path-breaking telefilm. Munshi Premchand. A film that really looks at, amongst others, the shameful scourge of caste problem in India. The film and the director. You can see Om Puri on your screen. You cannot see somebody else on your screen. I'll give you a hint, Smita Patil.
Sir, so,
Yeah.
sir,
Brilliant.
so I would like to go with Sadgati and Satyajit Ray.
Absolutely correct. His second Hindi film, amongst the 2 Hindi films he's made, Shatranji Khiladi and Sadgati, both are by Munshi Premchand. This is Sadgati, Om Puri. There is, of course, Mohan Agase. There is Smita Patil. Absolutely correct. Sadgati was one of India's first telefilms. Lovely answer. Sadgati, Satyajit Ray. Second visual for Birla High School. Okay. Birla High School, second visual. Both the hands up, please, child. Both the hands up, please, child.
Sir,
Yeah.
this is Ankita Raina.
Not this. This is fine. This is fine. Yeah. The athlete, the sports person.
Sir, it's Ankita Raina.
Ankita Raina. Absolutely. Much closer to Tokyo Olympics. She had an unfortunate first round exit with Saina Mirza, but nevertheless, one of our finest Federation Cup players, Ankita Raina. Next 2 visuals for Birla Vidya Niketan, Delhi. BVN. First one. Okay, legend. Absolute legend. I have no hints to give, apart from the fact that she's a legend. She's legend much more. I mean, fighting all throughout her life on patriarchy and doing what she did for me.
Begum Akhtar.
Begum Akhtar, absolutely. Plus 10. Begum Akhtar. Next visual for BVN. Okay. One of the greatest Indian thinkers. Constituent Assembly, Indian hockey team, founder of multiple concepts, taught in a school, worked in an MNC. What not did he do in his life? And one of those magical personalities, unfortunately not taught in our syllabus. It's just a huge misfortune that a CBSE or an ICSE doesn't find time to write 10 lines about a man who probably changed Indian thinking. Who's the person? I give you a hint. Indian hockey. He's a gold medalist. At the same point of time, he was one of the finest thinkers. Political thinker, social thinker.
So may I?
Yeah, go ahead, child.
So may I?
No, not you. 1 second. I want to answer first from the child and then it goes back to an open house. Or to other participants, not 4 points. First, the BVN participant. Anything going? Devansh?
Yes, sir. Just 1 second.
Long time child?
No idea, sir.
Okay. Anybody?
May I? Baldev Singh.
No. That's not
Jaipal
Baldev
Singh
Singh.
Munda.
This is Jaipal Singh Munda,
Okay.
founder of the concept of Jharkhand, played hockey with great distinction for India, including a medal. In fact, shuttled with his exams as his Olympics was going on. Unthinkable, you're giving an exam and you're playing Olympics. At the same point of time, he was the only Adivasi member in the Constituent Assembly, headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And much more, Jaipal Singh Munda. Jaipal Singh Munda, BVN's 2 questions. Now we move on to Mahadevi Birla World Academy. If we can go for the next visual, ma'am. Okay. Slightly older photograph in terms of his age. Maybe the younger photograph you would have got it in a jiffy. But a man with profound contributions of loving India's landscape, loving with all his life. Though unfortunately, he didn't pass away in India. He left his mortal body elsewhere. Who is the person we are talking about? He's a lover of Indian landscape, lover of people who lived in fringe and margins of India and who are the unsung heroes of our nation. He wrote about them repeatedly. Apart from writing about ecology, amongst other things. There's a very well-known landmark in India named after him. Comes back to me quickly, child. Anything?
Jim Corbett.
1 second, child. 1 second. Yeah, absolutely right. It came back to me, so no points. Jim Corbett. Jim Corbett, in fact, very interestingly, studied in a school, which was a British school then, and now it's a heritage school as a part of Sarla Birla group of schools. The school is now called Birla Vidya Mandir, Nainital. At Corbett's time, of course, it was a British school, and Corbett had a huge love for the campus. Apart from other things, Uttarakhand, Nainital, his whole stint in India, finally going back to Kenya, treetops, his ultimate passing away. Jim Corbett. Next one for Mahadevi Birla World Academy. Okay. Actor, Hollywood actor. Not only an actor, he's an activist. A rare Hollywood actor who's not into these frills of doing multiple ads, into celebrityhood. He uses his celebrityship to actually focus on real issues. Tangible political issues, very thorny issues. Very, very thorny issues, very precise issues. He once went to interview somebody, and that person who he went to interview, which is now published as a book, with Arundhati Roy, and him and his conversations with that person, also makes him, a very, very huge icon who used his iconic status to bring light to problems that confronts us. Yes, child, anything going? Sorry, comes back to me. Yeah, anybody?
Yes, it's John Cusack.
John Cusack. You know who he met? Edward Snowden in Russia, in an undisclosed location. And the lady who accompanied him is Arundhati Roy. And it's now published as a book, available freely in the market. I mean, amazing. That interview is an amazing read about digital privacy. Those two for Mahadevi Birla World Academy. Now for South Point High School. Next two questions. South Point High School, first one, name the bridge. Name the bridge. Iconic bridge. There's no hints to be given. Answers in the question. Answers in the question. Yes, South Point, your time ticks. Finally, one call. Which bridge? Dipayan, give any answer?
Sir, Vidyasagar Setu.
No, this is not Vidyasagar Setu.
Scudi.
No, this is the Pamban Bridge. In fact, this bridge has a lot of memories, not just the architectural memory or the vantage position. The train that you see, that train was a lifeline for Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Sometimes coming to school every day. The Pamban Bridge. Next one for South Point High School. Style of painting. Style of painting.
It's Patachitra.
Not Potachitro. Potachitro would see. Potachitro, when you look at, it will have panels. Each panel has a song. This is one undivided painting. Of course, color, figuration, characters, they are of course very, very different from Potachitro. But Potachitro is easy to understand because it's a paneled painting. 10 panel, 11 panel, 8 panel, 6 panel. Each panel has a song. It's a singing scroll. No, this is what we call as Madhuban. Madhuban. A lovely artist called Rajkumar Paswan, who also does a lot of black and white Madhuban. I love collecting his work because black and white Madhuban is very, very rare. He also does a lot of black and white Madhuban, improvising. This, of course, is colored, as you see. Madhuban. Rajkumar Paswan, painter. Next two for DPS Newtown. First one for you, DPS Newtown. Okay. Theatre director. Cultural doyen. Probably one of the last living legends left in Indian theatre. He took Indian theatre to the world. Traveled across the world with his iconic plays. Has a beautiful setup called the Shrine. It's one of the loveliest auditoriums I have seen in my travels across. Runs the Chorus Repertory Theatre, which is one of the finest theatre companies in South Asia, and I would dare to say the world. He's one of the theatre icons who've bridged the language gap into being what he is, an absolute legend. Who's he?
Is it Sam Pitrodi?
No. Sam Pitroda is a telecommunication expert who sets up supercomputers and telecom networks. Why would he do theatre? Sam Pitroda is somebody else. He'd come in during Rajiv Gandhi's time. Then, of course, headed a lot of technology missions, one of our finest tech brains. This is somebody from theatre, absolutely field of theatre, not even cinema, not even television serials. He's just theatre and theatre per se. Ratan Thiam from Manipur, Imphal, one of the greatest theatre personalities, not only of India, South Asia, I would say world at large, and a living legend. Living legend. Chakravyuh is one of his greatest productions. Now, Nine Hills, One Valley, the way we describe Manipur. One of his loveliest productions. Ratan Thiam for the first question on DPS Newtown, the second one now. Second one now. Okay. Name the university. In fact, that makes the question easier for you.
Sorry, can you just repeat the question?
Name the university. Name the university.
Okay.
Name the university. And of course, her name is there, which is why I'm asking the question.
Is it Sister Nivedita University?
Not Sister Nivedita University. Yeah, go ahead, child.
Savitribai Phule University.
Savitribai Phule, Pune University. Mahatma Jyotiba Phule's very young wife, but both of them decided to work on education for all their lives. As a child bride, when she was going to school, people pelted stones from the window. Just the act of going to school was seen as heretic. That's Savitribai Phule. Yeah. We finished one round clockwise. Yeah, could we have a little less conversation, please? Thanks. We finished one round clockwise. Now we move anti-clockwise.
Sir, can we know how the scores stand?
Score stand. Maybe after the anti-clockwise round. Before we begin the final round, we'll tell you the scores. Anti-clockwise, first question for DPS Newtown. DPS Newtown, name the legend. DPS Newtown, name the legend. India lover. Loved India all her life.
Is it Annie Besant?
Annie Besant, absolutely correct. Plus 10. Young Annie Besant, plus 10. Next one for DPS Newtown. Okay. Which city of India? To give the monument, lovely. Or to make it much more broader, name the city. Iconic. When you look at the city, you look at this monument. In fact, this monument is far more closer to that city than Taj Mahal is to Agra. Because Agra can be, defined by Fatehpur Sikri. Which city or which monument?
Sir, is it Lucknow?
Lucknow, no. Good try.
Sir, may I?
Yeah, go ahead, child.
This is Sayyid Mosque in Ahmedabad.
Yeah. Siddhi Syed in Ahmedabad. Absolute center, bang of the city. And this logo has been, recreated so many times. I remember having got a beautiful work based on this lattice work while conducting a quiz in IIM Ahmedabad. They love to give this as a precise icon of Ahmedabad. Siddhi Syed in Ahmedabad. That was for DPS Newtown. Now the two questions for South Point.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, next one for South Point.
Sir, the participant is not visible. So
Yeah.
we will need to ask them to kindly.
A little more shift, a little more light, child, please. Yes, Dipayan. Lake and the location. You don't have to say Calcutta, you can say West Bengal. I've tried to give enough hints in the photograph, and it's very iconic from a fairly vantage position. Yes, Dipayan.
Sir, Jammu and Kashmir.
Where?
Jammu and Kashmir.
Jammu and Kashmir. And the lake?
Pangong So.
Pangong So. Okay. Now there's a contradiction in your answer. Had you given me the Pangong So's location, at least you would have got half points. Pangong So. This is not Pangong So, but this is So Moriri Lake. But the place is Ladakh. So had you gone Pangong So's location, you wouldn't have said Jammu and Kashmir. You would have said Ladakh. So Ladakh, So Moriri Lake. Sorry, no points. Pangong So, I can't give you points. You would have to say Ladakh. And as you know now, Jammu is separate, Kashmir is separate, Ladakh is separate as three different units as a union territory. Okay, comes back to me. Visual 14 for South Point. Okay. What is happening in Indian history? What precise moment in Indian history? What's
Sir, a hint, please.
any hint? Okay.
Yes, sir.
First hint, it's not happening in India. It's happening in London. But of course, has a profound effect on Indian history. Second, the person concerned globe-trotted and finally did what he did, including acting in a small Hollywood film in a cameo role, blink and you miss role, not even a cameo. A fascinating life. Indian history. Both the hands, please, child. Comes back to me, Protoy. Anything going?
May I?
Just no, 1 second. Let the child give it. I'll take one final call with the child. And then I'll throw it open.
Sir, I have no idea.
Okay, sorry, Protoy. Comes back to me. Yes.
Uddham Singh being taken away after the assassination of Michael O'Dwyer.
Yeah, and the precise moment. Anything more?
No, sir.
Very interesting. He was asked, "What's your name?" You know what he said? Ram Muhammad Singh Azad, which included all the primary religions of India. He didn't say, "I'm Udham Singh." Of course, they knew he was Udham Singh when he was arrested. They said, "Give your identity." He said, "Ram Muhammad Singh Azad." What a lovely way. I'm dreading the fact that there'll be a terrible film starring Vicky Kaushal, which is coming very soon, and he plays Udham Singh. I'll have a tough time watching it after such an inspiring life. God bless Vicky Kaushal. Udham Singh, Ram Muhammad Singh Azad. Amazing man, amazing life. Assassination of Michael O'Dwyer. By the way, who was Michael O'Dwyer, child?
Maybe the Jallianwala Bagh who ordered the massacre.
No, that's the fun bit.
The governor of Punjab.
He was the governor of Punjab.
Okay.
The guy who was the butcher of Amritsar, if I were to take that term, which was a term sobriquet given to him, was Reginald O'Dwyer. And the man who was governor that time was Michael O'Dwyer. This was aimed at Michael O'Dwyer. Reginald O'Dwyer had passed away after he was relieved of services. Michael O'Dwyer stayed on to live for some time, and finally this precise moment happened in history. In a place called Caxton. I photographed that place, later I went to London. It's a luxurious residence with a parking lot. God bless us. The courtroom doesn't exist anymore. Amazing. Shahid-e-Azam Udham Singh. Now we move to the next two questions for Mahadev Birla. First one. Mahadev Birla, the painter. The painter. I'll make it easier for you. Indian painter. But Indian painter who has profound effects of Europe in her painting. She's also evolved her own style, died fairly young, has memories of Hungary, has memories of Kasoli. Both the hands, child. Kasoli and Hungary were big hints. Our paintings are part of our national heritage. Name the painter. Yes, child, anything going? Before it comes back to me? Okay, sorry, it comes back to me. The lady concerned, Amrita Shergill. Amrita Shergill. Next one for Mahadev Birla, World Academy. iconic person, scientist, very, very relevant when we discuss and look at his work in today's pandemic times. Name the person. Name the person. Nobel laureate. Nobel laureate as a hint. Yes, child, any answer going? Okay, Mahadev Birla World Academy. Question comes back to me.
So Hargobind Khurana.
Khurana, correct. Absolutely. Hargobind Khurana. The Nobel Prize was not on an Indian passport, but of course, he remains as much as a part of the legacy of undivided India. Hargobind Khurana, absolutely right. A person who did his undergraduate studies in Lahore. Hargobind Khurana, 16th visual for Mahadev Birla World Academy. Now we move to 2 questions for BVN. First one for BVN. Now BVN.
Some hint.
I can't. If I give you a hint, it's a giveaway. But let me see what I can give you a hint without giving it away. One of his films is Pandemic. Both the Hands, child, was shot entirely, very, very
Fossil, I guess. It was something like
with a computer as a backdrop. Yeah.
Fahad Fasil or something like that.
Fahad Fazil plus 10. Fahad Fazil plus 10, Malayali superstar. Some of the finest films that have now hit the OTT platforms because it couldn't be released in halls, auditoriums, streaming everywhere in the pandemic. Fahad Fazil's films, lovely. Plus 10, next one for BVN. Okay, name the person. Clues are all over. Study, table, items, recreation, recreating that ambience as accurately as possible. Yes, child. We should see you with a clear distance, child. Yeah. The person concerned. The spirit of the person is in the visual, completely. I've just made the visuals a little more distant so that it doesn't give away.
So Anne Frank?
Yeah, who?
Anne Frank.
Anne Frank plus 10. Anne Frank plus 10. Not the closet, but the room.
So the picture was not clear in that picture.
Okay, fair enough. Anne Frank plus 10. Next goes to, yeah, I mean, the pictures should be unclear. Otherwise, there'll be a little Anne Frank on it also. Next 2 visuals for Birla High School. One second, Birla High School. I won't tell you who the person is. Neither will you tell me. Both of us know. Okay, simple. Give me the kilogram.
So the weight category which she is in, right?
Absolutely, child. One second. Which child is answering?
So since this is the second question, so I think if this is going reverse, then it's mine. Otherwise, it's Ram's.
Okay. Yeah, this is going reverse. Take it. Any one of you. Okay, fair enough. 1 second. Pin the child.
Is Khan Dhandhani answering?
Yeah, go ahead, child.
49 kg weight category.
1 second. I couldn't hear you.
Saicom Mirabai Chanu in the 49 kilogram weight category.
Okay, give him plus 10. The kg is a little here and there, but nevertheless. Okay. Plus 10. Now this one is for Ram. Who's being poisoned, Ram?
So can you give me a hint, sir?
Hint is one of the greatest. Just a second, please. Not in the chat box. Not in the chat box. One of the greatest thinkers. One of the greatest thinkers of world philosophy.
So Socrates. I'm going to go with Socrates because I remember he was poisoned by cyanide from what I know.
Yeah. Socrates plus 10. Absolutely correct. Socrates plus 10. Socrates plus 10. That goes for the visual round. And now we move into the longish general question round before we move to the last round. Okay. Children who are keeping the scores, if you could share the quick score with us, because the next round is also longish because it's a normal round. Anti-clockwise.
We have the round-wise scores here, and then the totals are calculated separately.
Okay. So if we can have a working total so far.
Shubhi?
Yeah, go ahead, child. Or go ahead.
BHS is on 30 and 20, 50.
BH is on 50, 50?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Birla High School on 50, 50.
Birla Vidyaniketan on 20.
BVN is on 20.
30. It's 30, so we answered 2 questions right.
Answered 2 visuals in like the second visual round and one in the first visual round.
Yeah.
Okay. BVN is on 30, 30.
Mahadevi Birla on 10.
Mahadevi Birla on 10.
South Point on 20.
20.
And DPS Newtown on 20.
On 20. Okay, lovely. Still anybody's quiz, actually. I mean, there's very little to choose from. Everybody's quiz, everybody has answered. I'm glad. And everybody's trying to work out the answers, which is more important to me, as I said before, than the answer itself. So now we move on to the penultimate round of the quiz. Last round of the quiz will be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 question. Any one of you will take the answer. That's just the last round of the quiz.
So can we discuss in this round?
No, because if you discuss in this round, then you would have to use a second device. You could talk to it. You could talk to each other. You could talk to each other. Maybe the last round I'll open up to your discussion. Not one will have to answer.
So can we talk on Zoom chat?
No, you can talk on Zoom chat. No problem with talking on Zoom chat, but no problem with talking on microphone also with each other, because that's fairly transparent to all of us. What we do is, in the last round, you can talk to each other and one of you answer. You don't have to nominate anybody. You can talk to each other for the answer. Okay? This one, we'll keep it individual. I'll throw the last round open for you to talk to each other and give one answer. This round, we'll keep it. We'll stick to as what we gave in the rules. We'll stick to you as an individual question. So I move from DPS Newtown. I move from DPS Newtown and then I go towards the team number 1, Birla High School. DPS Newtown, first question for you. This is yours. First question for you, DPS Newtown. Tadej Pogačar. Tadej Pogačar, Slovenian. What major sporting achievement 2021? Tadej Pogačar, T-A-D-E-J, Tadej. Pogačar, actually, not Pogačar in the pronunciation. P-O-G-C-A-R. Yeah. What major sporting achievement in 2021? I'm talking about current affairs, though it's equally valid in 2022. Not 2022, 2022. 2020 and 2021. Which major sporting achievement? Okay. Rajdeep, anything going?
Did he set some record for shooting?
No. He won the Tour de France, the iconic cycling event, 2 years in a row. The one which was tainted by doping allegations against Lance Armstrong. So Pogačar is the latest victor of the grueling Tour de France, one of the world's largest cycling events. Okay, that was the first one. Second one for South Point once more. Okay. South Point, second one. I'll give you a lot of clues. Okay. You've got to tell me which word am I looking for? Okay. Yes, South Point. The clues.
Sir, DPS and not South Point.
Oh, I'm so sorry. DPS. Sorry. Stand corrected. Absolutely. DPS, clues first. Balia, Sahibganj, Bhagalpur, Patna, recently been spotted after years. Clue 1. Clue 2, neighbors policy of zero net. Neighbors policy of zero net. ZERONET. Zero net. 3, gates and locks have been restructured and remade. Gates and locks restructured and remade. Fourth clue. This is a very, very clinching clue. This clue is a national mission for clean Ganga. National mission for clean Ganga. And the last clue is upstream. Downstream, upstream, upstream. Which word am I looking for, DPS Newtown? One word answer.
Sir, are you looking for Gangetic dolphin?
Gangetic dolphin, no. Comes back to me. I'm looking for something, I'm sure, closer to your heart. Definitely closer to my heart. See, the clues are very interesting. Spotted in Balia, Sahibganj, Patna, that area. National mission on cleaning the Gangas. What I did not say is locks and barrage of Farakka. Upstream, the word I'm looking for is a fish called Hilsa. Ilish. Hilsa has been now spotted in upstream in Patna, Bhagalpur, Balia, Sahibganj after a long, long time. And India has now remade a lot of fish locks and gates of the barrage so that the fish can actually travel upstream. The barrage was creating problems. It's a huge part of National Mission for Clean Ganga to get back Hilsa on the Indian side. Hilsa, Ilish. Those two for DPS Newtown. Next one, South Point. This is your question. This is your direct. Okay. 55,000 runs, 2,800 wickets. One interesting story. Who's taking that? Dipayan, are you taking?
Yes.
Yeah. 55,000 runs, 2,800 wickets. Once, there's a lovely story. Once a burglar came to the house. He broke in. Okay. This man who's a doctor treated the burglar for some ailments he had and refused to hand him over to the police. Who's the legend we are talking about? 55,000 runs, 2,800 wickets. Obviously, at that point of time, there was not so much of Test cricket and one-day T20. There's no question altogether. Amazing man. Amazing man. Unthinkable what he did. Unthinkable. Richard Tomlinson wrote his biography, where they use a beautiful song as a metaphor, hymn, to describe him, the name of the biography. Sorry, Dipan, comes back to me.
Sir, can I try?
1 second, 1 second. Yeah, on the moment.
Sir, Richard Tomlinson.
No, Richard Tomlinson wrote the biography.
Sir, can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead, child.
Gilbert Grace.
Yeah, W.G. Grace. W.G. Grace. You know what his biography was called? Beautiful. It's called Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace, from the song Amazing Grace, the hymn. Tomlinson's biography. W.G. Grace. Next one for South Point. Next one for South Point. This is for you. Okay. South Point, again, workable answer. Workable answer. Try to get this. Okay. Tell me, which Indian won the Golden Eye for the best documentary this year in the Cannes Film Festival? Absolute mint fresh current affairs. And winning Cannes is not easy. And definitely not in documentary. Cannes Film Festival, best documentary, amazing, amazing film, very, very interesting film. The film has a Calcutta connection too. I'm sorry. The film has a very definite Calcutta connection. One girl who gave a voiceover is from suburbs of Calcutta, Bhumi Shuta Das. It's a very, very interesting film. You give me the name of the film also. I'll give you a choice. Either the film name or the filmmaker. Either of the two.
A Night of Knowing Nothing. A Night of Knowing Nothing.
Okay. We give lovely answer. Even if you don't know the filmmaker, you get the film's name. +10. +10, but the other child who raised the hands, try for the name, please.
Sir, can I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Payal Kapadia.
Yeah, Payal Kapadia, Night of Knowing Nothing. No points for you, but love the answer. Night of Knowing Nothing, Payal Kapadia. It's about two people writing letters. Payal Kapadia, interestingly, was part of FTII Pune movement. There was a huge movement in FTII Pune over the appointment of Gajendra Chauhan as the FTII head. And there was a huge movement and a very valid movement where FTII Pune was stopped and children asked questions. And a lot of people say that, what is the point in children agitating? A place is for studies. But a place is for studies only if you have a sense of a, social register in your mind. Or you have a sense of social belonging. What film will you make if you do not point out obvious flaws in obvious appointments? So Payal was one of the agitating students. And now the current prize also goes on to show those who say that when you agitate, you therefore suspend your studies, live in a very different realm where they want students not to take social responsibility. Payal Kapadia, it's a very, very inspiring story. Payal Kapadia, absolutely correct. Next goes to Mahavir Birla World Academy. The two questions. First one for you, child. This is your question. Okay. Workable answer. Workable answer. Try to get this. His fifth time. Name Nepal's Prime Minister. Very recent. Nepal's highest court said that the parliament cannot be dissolved. Fifth time, Prime Minister has come back. Very landmark decision for peace of Nepal, and as being one of our neighbors, very important decision for us also in India. His fifth term as the PM of Nepal. Which person are we talking about? All over the newspaper recently. And also a very important politician, very seasoned politician. Yes, Mahavir Birla, the first one for you. Wait, children. Once she tries, we'll get back to you. Mahavir Birla, anything going? Comes back to me.
Shehbahadur Deuba.
Absolutely. Lots of answers from the other participants. I'm sure audience some of you who are watching. Yeah. Shehbahadur Deuba. Shehbahadur Deuba has come back for the fifth time in a very, very important assignment to head Okay. Next one for Madhavi Birla World Academy. This is yours. Okay. World's first conjugate vaccine for COVID-19. Soberna 2, Abdallah. The two vaccines. World's first conjugate vaccine for COVID-19 done by Biopharma. We are very, very excited because it has a lot of possibilities. It can be maintained in absolute general temperature of the refrigerator and has a lot of possibility as a low-cost vaccine for a huge part of the world waiting to be vaccinated. Which country are we talking about? Which country are we talking about? World's first conjugate vaccine for COVID-19. Soberna 2 and Abdallah. Which country are we talking about? Yeah. Go for it, child. Answer right, wrong, not important. Don't pass it. Guess something. Very important development in COVID-19. And a fairly recent development. Fairly recent development. I'm trying to keep a little sense of what's happening around the world in the quiz. It's not just about past, it's bridging the past and the present. Yes, comes back to me. Sorry, child.
Cuba.
Yeah. Lots of right answers. Lots of right answers. Cuba. Absolutely. Cuba, world's first conjugate. Absolutely comes back to me. Cuba. Cuba's been doing some amazing work in health over the years. And this conjugate vaccine is one such of the many things that they've done in terms of affordable health for the poor. For a country this small, with so much of American sanctions, doing what they're doing, just unthinkable. Unthinkable in terms of low-cost vaccine. At one point of time, you have Serum, you have Bharat Biotech, and then you look at Biopharma's work. There's no comparison almost. Brilliant work. Cuba, low-cost vaccine. Now we move to next two questions for BVN. Next two questions for BVN. BVN, here we go. First one, who's going? Arnav?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
So, with all due respect, sir, his hands cannot be seen, sir.
Yeah. No problem. He will. Absolutely. Cool. Last time you did this, don't do that. No, it's not meant for you. It's just a general remark. Yeah. Your question, child. Okay, both the hands, please. Yeah. I'll give you a name. No surnames. 30-year-old Sanjal, systems engineer from Kalyan. Kalyan is a place near Bombay. Recently in news for being a part of which ideating team? 30-year-old systems engineer from Kalyan, Sanjal. Okay, Sanjal Gawan.
So one of his hands.
Both hands, please. Yeah. Sanjal from Kalyan. Very, very interesting achievement in terms of the tech ideation team. Again, I'm sticking to a lot of things that happen near you. Things I'm sure you've read about. I'm sure you know more about this than I do. This is just one small piece of trivia. Sorry, Arnav, comes back to me.
The Sanjay Gavande.
Yeah. Who? Where? What?
She built a suborbital rocket for Blue Origins.
Jeff Bezos. Absolutely. Jeff Bezos, the current journey to space. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Sorry, Pratyay, if this was your direct, you would have got it. But nevertheless, I'm sure when quizzing comes back to normal times and there's clock and anti-clock, all of you will have fun answering each other's question if it passes. It's just at extraordinary times, quizzing, debating, and all these things have to go on. And I'm sure all of you would have answered more had questions passed because you knew each other's questions. That's what quizzing is all about. Chai. Yeah. Next one for BVN once more. Next one for BVN once more. Yes, Devansh, this is your question. Jovenel Moïse, the president, assassinated with people masquerading as United States Enforcement Agency, Drug Enforcement Agency. Wife severely wounded. Which country?
So can you please repeat that?
Jovenel Moïse, severely attacked, killed.
Haiti.
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 Absolutely correct.
Yes.
Haiti, plus 10. Haiti, plus 10, absolutely correct. Haiti. Now we move to the first two questions anti-clockwise, or rather the last two questions. Last two questions anti-clockwise. First one for BHS. BHS, Tamil words. One is called tide, time. Another is the tree. Join the two words, you get an English word. Name the English word.
So what was the first word, sir?
Tide, trees. The Tamil word for it, when you join the word, when you join the two words, you get an English word.
So tight trees.
Yeah, tide, trees. And the
So
Tamil word is very close to the English word. Very close to the English word. And you get an English word.
So could you give me a hint, sir?
I'll give you a hint. Think of waterways. Think of waterways. Like roads, waterways. Land roads, waterways. Think of waterways. In fact, that's almost the answer, child. Work it out, Ram. Waterways. It's a working out question. It's a working out question. Waterways.
So is it canals?
Not canals. From, see, very interesting. From Kattu, Maram, you get catamaran. Catamaran. Break the word, Kattu, Maram. Both Tamil words. English word is catamaran. Okay, waterways, catamaran goes in waterways. Yeah, catamaran. Okay, this one's for you, BHS, with which we finish this round of quizzing, and then we move to the last round where we'll look at, okay, when we look at 1853, okay, an American chef at Moon Lake Lodge Resort in Saratoga Springs, we think of what invention or what improvisation? American chef, George Crumb, 1853.
Yes, sir, it's potato chips.
Potato chips, absolutely. Absolutely. Potato chips plus 10, and we move to the last round of the quiz, where you can discuss with your microphone on, with the same posture of your hand. Your discussion is entirely your headache. We'll look at the scores. No negative marking. No negative marking for the last round also. It doesn't matter it's clock or anti-clock because it doesn't pass. So,
just a question.
Let's look at the scores before we move to the final round.
So how many questions in the final round again?
Final round would be 5 questions. Each one of you can discuss with each other.
Okay, 1 question per team, right?
1 question per team.
And 10 points.
Absolutely.
Okay.
BHS is currently on 60 and they are leading.
BHS is currently on
60.
60. BHS leads with 60.
BVN is on 40.
Billa Vidyaniketan is on 40. 40.
MBWA on 10.
Madhavi Birla World Academy on 10.
South Point High School on 30.
South Point High School on 30. 30.
And DPS Newtown on 20.
DPS Newtown on 20. Okay. Okay. Here we go for the last round. Here we go for the last round. what we can do is we can do a limited passing to one team only, since it's the last round. So if we move into two directions, there are 5 teams. 5 teams. So if I ask the first question to, say, Birla High School, it can only pass to BVN if they don't answer. Only pass to BVN. When I ask a question to BVN, if they don't answer, it can pass to Mahadevi Birla World Academy. When I ask Mahadevi Birla World Academy, if they don't answer, it can pass to South Point High School. If South Point High School doesn't answer, it can pass to DPS Newtown. If DPS Newtown's question they don't answer, it passes back to BHS.
So just one thing.
Yeah.
Like in this round, is each team getting one question each? Or
One question each. Yeah, that will stick to.
How many rounds the passing?
I'm just expanding to one team passing.
Sir, could we do one thing, that the team which gets passed also gets spotlighted with the hands up, so that just for
Cool, absolutely.
Sir, the pass points will be 5 points, right, sir?
Pass will be 10, direct will be 10. Everything will be 10. So if you get a pass, you get 10 too. Because if I do 10 and 5, then since it's an individual question and one of you can answer with all your limitations, whoever answers after you can also get 10. In a live quiz, of course, it passes on physically. And similarly, you can get 10 if somebody else misses. If DPS Newtown misses, you also get 10.
Understood,
it's 10 flat scoring. It's a flat scoring on 10, not 10 and 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just ensure, children, those who are technical team spotting children, if you can just ensure that the next team, if it passes to the next team, as and when it passes to the next team, if the next team can be spotted too. Okay. The next team can be spotted too. Then we would be in a position to spot the fundamental workings or mechanics of the answer. BHS, this is your question. This is your direct. September 1974, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. There is also another clue. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. From these two clues, try to work out.
What's the question, sir, again? Like the first
two clues, try to work out. Then comes the question, no? From these two clues, try to work out what first of United Nations are we talking about? One sec. Little silence, please. Little silence, please. From these two clues, work out, please, both the hands up. What first United Nations we are talking about?
And do you have any idea?
Yeah.
74 was.
One second. BHS. Yeah, go ahead with the answer. September 74.
74
was Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
Yes.
And then later Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Both the hands, please, child.
Yes, sir. So
what first in United Nations are we talking about?
Yes, so I'll try to build up to the answer. So, Bangladesh got its independence in 1971, and Mujibur Rahman is obviously the father of the nation. And 1974, like around the mid of 1974, was the sixth special conference of the General Assembly. But like this was, I think, the establishment of a new committee or something like that. But
in which Vajpayee was there?
I think maybe this can be the decolonization committee.
No. Just passes to.
This is not a final answer. We are discussing, sir.
We were discussing.
Go ahead, child. Go ahead.
So I think
also 10 seconds. No.
This enabled countries to become members of the community of free people, and this was the sixth special conference of the United Nations General Assembly, as far as I remember.
So I think we can go
Two
ahead.
of you, the final answer.
Yes, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. UN Assembly, sixth special conference.
Yes, sir.
Vivian.
Sir, it was, I guess, the end of the Soviet War, and I guess they
Oh,
formed.
sorry, comes back to me. Sorry, comes back to me. Not Soviet War. No. Wrong track. Wrong track.
Sir, I'm answering.
Yeah.
Commission of the UNGA, I guess.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I said, that's why I'm saying first in UN. First, what were they doing first time in UN? The first and UN was the operative point. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, first to address United Nations in Bangla. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, first to address United Nations in Hindi. First time, addresses of this language was added to the United Nations repertoire of language. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Vajpayee was, of course, a part of Morarji Desai government at that point of time. That was the first question for Birla High School. Okay. BVN, this is your question. Here we go. Work out an answer. I'm only interrupting you in 10 seconds after your time's over. In between, when you're discussing with each other, that's entirely your thing. But the discussion should not go on more than the time limit allotted. That's it. Okay. This one's for you, BBN. This is your question, your direct. Okay. Here goes the clues. Both the hands, children, both of you are able to see. Okay. Almora, Uttarakhand.
Hands.
Almora, Uttarakhand. Bartholomew Hospital. Indian Medical Service. West Bengal, Calcutta. Amazing contribution to health systems in India. Stitch all the clues and tell me the person.
Hands.
Both the hands, please. Stitch all the clues, tell me the person. Almora, Calcutta, Bartholomew. Both the hands, please, the person. Both the hands, the person. Sorry, both the hands, order. Devansh. Yes, child. Time's going off, ticking off. That's 10 seconds. Tell me, child.
Devansh, which idea?
Anything going. Try anything. Don't pass. No answer is good. No answer is stupid. Answer is an answer in a quiz. It doesn't matter.
So can you please repeat the hints once?
Almora, Calcutta.
Almora, you said.
Almora, Bartholomew, Calcutta. Quick.
Bartholomew, Calcutta.
Yeah, Bartholomew, Calcutta. No, Bartholomew is another clue. Calcutta is another clue. Yeah. Okay, sorry, comes back to me. Mahadev Birla World Academy. Ronald Ross, absolutely correct. Ronald Ross. Ronald Ross, of course, malaria, anopheles. He came to Indian Medical Service, spent a better part of his life in India. And of course, there is that beautiful tablet in Presidency General Hospital, Calcutta, which has the last paragraph. I know this little thing my dead men will save. O victory, where's thy sting? O death, thy grave. Ronald Ross, absolutely correct. Plus 10 to Mahadev Birla World Academy. Now we move to your set of questions. Here we go. Here we go. Once again, discussion time is not exclusive and answer time is exclusive. As you finish the discussion time, we straight go to the answer per se. Immediately the answer. Okay? Okay, here we go. These are made and assembled by hand by Billings Artworks in Ridgeway, Colorado. One of the first working titles of it was Eddie, after Thomas Alva Edison. What do we call it now? What do we call it now? Billings Ridgeway artworks, handmade, used to be called Eddie. What do we call it now after Thomas Alva Edison? Go ahead, child. Guess something. Guess something. What do we call it now? In terms of global recognition. Even if it is skewed towards the Western civilization, but it's still a global recognition. There are Indians who've been a part of that recognition. MBWA, I'll pass. MBWA, I'll pass. This goes to South Point.
Sir, I just didn't get
One second. South Point, can we spotlight? Yeah. Both the hands.
Sir, am I spotlighted?
No, you're not spotlighted. 1 second. Yeah, you are. I can see you.
Sir, the question is the first clue. I didn't get it.
Billing Ridgeways, handcrafted. It was called Eddie. Now what is it called? That's the clue.
Billing Bridgeways.
Billing Ridgeway is not a huge clue. Clue is I told you recognition. I told you Eddie. Billing Ridgeway is a company. From there you can't work out the answer. Edison, Eddie, world recognition. That way you could work out the answer.
So hand.
So what
sort of connected to electricity?
No, sorry, comes back to me. It's called Grammy Awards for music. Grammy. Eddie was the giveaway. Eddie, Grammy. A standard quiz question, Claire Awards, after Claire Mendonca. What do we call it now? Filmfare. Claire Filmfare, Eddie Grammy. These are things you work out from the history. Company and all, see, one doesn't remember so much. Remember more the person. That loop is a better loop to remember. From there, you can kind of work out the answer. Others are details one gives as a part of the quiz. There are other details one gives. We now move to South Point for their set of questions. South Point, this is for you. Once again, let me repeat it. We are giving your thinking time as much as your answer time. It's fairly long, I'm waiting. Discuss with each other, start brainstorming. Your microphone is on, nothing switched off. Nothing switched off. So get it from there. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. This is for you, South Point. Zlin. Zlin. Zlin is a part of what we call as the Austro-Hungarian Empire then. Of course, it's still there in a modern country. There was a huge order in World War I that catapulted the popularity of the products. And the company became household. Who are we talking about? Which company are we talking about?
So could you repeat the entire thing like first line?
Austro-Hungarian Ziln. It's currently there in a part of a country. Of course, now there is no Austro-Hungarian. World War I, there was an order and it skyrocketed the popularity. That's how the company started building. Then it had retail presence in many countries. Which corporate are we talking about? Household name. The name of the family is the name of the corporate. Not so much now, it's more of a corporation now. But the name of the family was the origins of the name of the corporate.
So is it related to chocolates?
It can relate to anything. I said the product skyrocketed in popularity in World War I. Could be chocolate also. I mean, chocolate was being consumed in WW1 also.
Prothoy,
Yeah.
Prothoy, I have a guess. What about shoes?
Maybe I have no idea.
I think we should try it.
Okay.
Sir,
First
sir,
one final answer.
Sir, Bata shoes.
Bata. Take the shoes out. Company Bata plus 10. Company Bata plus 10. Not Bata shoes. Bata makes various things, but it's okay. You got the name Bata. Bata is what matters. Bata plus 10. We move to DPS Newtown. DPS Newtown for the final question as we finish the quiz. If you miss, this passes to Birla High School. If you miss, this passes to Birla High School. This is your final question. This one's for you. Okay? You know, there's a place, very famous place called CERN. CERN. CERN's very, very famous in the field of basic sciences, applied sciences, so on and so forth. They're doing some path-making project on that notional particle, as you know, called boson, and various other things. Amongst other things, CERN do. Now, there was this rock group, a singing rock group, who were part of CERN. They were called these horrible CERN girls. Les horrible CERNs. Now, they finished a concert. And the concert is basically a very sarcastic concert of rock songs and, you know, to make a little bit of fun, banter on higher physics. The concert finished. And all the people came down. And somebody requested concert. And they said yes to the request. And something revolutionary happened in terms of technology. And something very common today in your and my life. But that was the first. So what happened? July 18, 1992, Les horrible CERNs, horrible CERN girls. They had a band, they were singing songs, they banter, making fun of higher physics. Of course, they're physics people themselves. It's more of a banter. They all came down from the stage, from the pulpit, from the platform, from the performance area. Somebody requested something. They said, okay, fine, yes to the request, and something happened.
Rajiv Dada, is it something like autograph?
One second, Shorish, go ahead. Oh, sorry, you were discussing.
Yes, sir, we are discussing.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Like autograph.
Well, CERN was the birthplace of the World Wide Web. So could it be something related to that?
What do you think? Ultimately, they're a band.
Maybe, okay, maybe they asked them whether they could upload their song maybe on the internet.
That's good. Then shall we go with that as a final answer?
Let's go with that.
So that's our final answer.
Okay. So Rajdeep, what do we go with?
Maybe it was the first time a rock concert song was uploaded on the internet, on the World Wide Web.
Okay. So BHS, Ram.
Yes, sir. So
can't completely sure about this, not the song, photograph. Can we go ahead with it?
Of course.
The
photograph
to be uploaded on the internet.
Absolutely. The first photograph to be uploaded on internet. DPS Newtown, you were heartbreakingly close. In fact, you discussed photograph also. In fact, you discussed the photograph also. Tim Berners-Lee told the girls to pose. He said, I'm trying out something for the first time. So they posed for him. He clicked a photo. He was trying a new tech for the first time. He put it on the web. So what I'll do is, I'll give 10 to Birla High, and I'll give 5 to South Point. In addition to the 10, sorry, to DPS Newtown, 5 to DPS Newtown, 10 to Birla High. No points are taken away from Birla High, no 7.5 business. They get 10, but I'll still give 5 to South Point. Sorry, DPS Newtown. I thought it was very good working out. I love the way you worked out. Only thing is you thought that photograph will be too less serious, isn't it, Rajdeep? I thought photograph is like, by the way, it's too banal. So I thought because you told the song, they told it's a photograph. But nevertheless, that's what quizzing is about. If you say Pele, somebody else can say Messi. So 5 points to Rajdeep and Shorish, and DPS Newtown at +5 and +10 to Birla High School. Now we go for the final scores, and I'll also tell you the best quizzer and the most promising quizzer.
Yes, sir. So Birla High School is on 70.
70 Birla High School.
Yes, sir. Birla Vidyaniketan on 40.
40 Birla Vidyaniketan.
Mahadevi Birla on 20.
20 for Mahadevi Birla.
South Point on 40.
South Point on 40.
DPS Newtown on 25.
DPS Newtown on 25.
But there's a tie between Birla Vidyaniketan and South Point. They are both on 40, and there's a tie between for the second place.
Okay, fair enough. There's a tiebreaker for the second place. Okay, there's a tiebreaker for the second place. So, children, here we go. 2 questions each. If that doesn't happen, I'll do sudden death. That'll be too close to football. Okay. So, first 2 for Birla Vidyaniketan, next 2 for South Point.
So one of us has to, like, first Devansh will answer and then I will answer.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay.
Devansh, first you will answer like the normal quizzing that we did. First you will answer, then Arnav will answer. Okay, we'll stick to the same pattern of questioning as for the first normal rounds. Okay, okay. Devansh, this one's yours. Connect. Venice, Venice, Cathay Pacific, Venice, Cathay Pacific, historical novel, The Journeyer. Journeyer.
Sir, can you please repeat the hints once more?
Cathay Pacific, that's a flight.
Yeah.
Air carrier. Okay, The Journeyer, a work, written work. And Venice. 2 words I'm looking for.
Cathay Pacific, Dennis, Venice.
Journeyer,
Journeyer.
Venice. Yes, Devansh.
No idea.
Comes back to me. Comes back to me. What I'm looking for is 2 words, Marco Polo. Venice Airport, Life of Marco Polo, Cathay Pacific's frequent flyer program is the Marco Polo program. Marco Polo, the great voyager. Next one, Arnav. Arnav, this is for you. Arnav, the precise city where Mahatma Gandhi went to his first school and second school in his life. Both the hands, please. Precise city, Mahatma Gandhi went to the first school and the second school in his life.
First one was
just the city, Arnav. I'm not burdening you with the name of the school.
So can I say one city, but like one of them?
No, this is Arnav's question.
Okay.
1 second.
We can't discuss it also.
No. This is individual questions. Even for the next team, it's individual questions. Because we set the rules before we started. Yes, Arnav, both the hands, please. Go ahead. Any try. His better part of his school life was in this city.
Porbandar.
Porbandar, sorry Arnav, comes back to me, no passing. It's a city called Rajkot. City called Rajkot. The biggest stint of Mahatma Gandhi in school was in Rajkot, but that was his second school, which was called Alfred High School, now renamed after Mahatma Gandhi. I've had the privilege of working in both the schools. In one school, I had done a theater performance. Another school, we had a very, very interesting, timed, moderated, structured League of the Nations, which is very different from a normal MUN conference with a ROP of 16 pages. It was more about the legal comparisons of that point of time because, you know, United Nations with a 16-page ROP, United Nations is 181 committees. It should be about 2 lakh pages as constitution. Reducing that to ROP means it gets very difficult. Enough bad luck. Porbandar, no. That's why the whole question. Porbandar was very respond, no. That's why I was trying to ask you that question. I thought you would say Ahmedabad, maybe Bombay, but yeah, Rajkot. Yeah. At that point of time, there was no preschool and kangaroo kids and Z kids, and you know, that's the time when you go back to school, the early days of your life, a little later. Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, next two for South Point. Dipayan, will you go first?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Dipayan. This one is your question. This is your direct. Okay. Try to work this out. Again, we stick to 1 question per person. 1 question per person. Here we go. Here we go. The bird is the central emblem of Rime of Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, also called Goonie birds, particularly those in North Pacific and, you know, that part of the world's map and topography. A swimmer is also nicknamed after the bird. Michael Gross, Olympian. Which bird are we talking about? Which bird?
Sir, the bird's name is Goonie bird.
Goonie.
Oh.
Yeah. Goonie birds, also called. Bird's name is not Goonie bird. Also called Goonie birds, particularly to those that fly in and around North Pacific.
Sir, I will guess pheasant.
Frigate.
Sir, pheasant.
Pheasant. No, not pheasant. Answer is, doesn't pass, albatross. Albatross. Michael Gross was a fantastic swimmer also. He was large span, especially when he was doing butterfly, the swimming stroke. From that wingspan also the name came albatross. Of course, I mean, Samuel Taylor Coleridge I thought was a huge clue, because the poem is a very, very, very famous poem. Okay, next one for South Point. This is your question, your direct. Okay, both the hands, please. Both the hands, South Point. Try to again work the answer. Try to again work the answer. Okay, I'll give you 3 clues. Okay, work from the clues. Diamond Football Club. Clue 1. Diamond Football Club is clue 1. Clue number 2. Keshav Dutt was the first. Keshav Dutt was the first. Clue number 3. Clue number 3. A very important name, a part of our heritage, also is a road name or a lane name.
So what am I going to answer? What is the question?
Institution we are looking for. Which?
Mohan Bagan.
Mohan Bagan Football Club. +10.
Yes.
Diamond Club, Roger Milla. Keshav Dutt was the first Olympian hockey player to win Mohun Bagan Ratna. He passed away recently. It's usually won by a footballer. An exception was made for Keshav Dutt's contribution to Mohun Bagan in hockey. Amongst the three clubs, Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, and Mohammedan Sporting, Mohun Bagan is the only club with a huge multi-sporting legacy and a tremendous legacy in terms of hockey and athletics, early athletics of Bengal. Of course, there's a road named after it, amongst other things. And of course, Indian freedom struggle, 1911, East York Regiment, and the famous victory. Mohun Bagan Football Club.
I guess from the first and last clues that Diamond.
Last clue. Okay, Diamond is a good clue. I'm glad you worked it out. It's not an easy clue.
Diamond
Roger
was
Milla
one
of
and the
Cameroon
road was
played against Mohun Bagan for Diamond. So that's a very good answer. Very good answer, Pratyay.
as well as the Mohun Bagan Lane.
Yeah, very good, very good, very good. Very good working out. So here we are with the quiz. I think the final score is fairly obvious now. Birla High School comes first. South Point comes second. Birla Vidyaniketan comes third. Best quizzer is Rajdeep from DPS Newtown. I liked his composure. I like the way he's guessing. I have a strong feeling he'll win far more quizzes than many of you here. That's not sarcastic. You can also win more quizzes than him. To me, any of you can win many quizzes than each other. When I mean quizzes, I mean the logic on which an answer is given. So I liked Rajdeep's logic and the composure on which he was answering the question, which was very good, wonderful, and for most promising quizzer, I'll stick to the last answer given by Pratyay. So these are the three prizes, 2 from what we saw in the quiz and 3 from the prizes. Yeah.
So there's another one for best individual answer.
Best individual answer. That was a complex set of questions. Best individual answer, it's very tough to choose because some comes from guessing, some comes from the fact that you know or work it out. We will stick with the best individual answer for the first photograph posted in World Wide Web. I don't know who of the two answered. Doesn't matter. But I'll stick to the first photograph posted in World Wide Web because after the first audio, you might not say first photograph. You might say first selfie. That also is a photograph, of course. First selfie is another question for another day, another time. We'll stick to the photograph. So please find out from BHS who of the two answered that question.
It was Ram Daftri, sir.
Okay. Okay. So we'll stick to that answer. Just a few things before I conclude the quiz, which is more important than the quiz itself. First, results anyway before the quiz, after the quiz makes no difference to me. What does is, I could see a lot of working out, but I could also see not a lot of working out. The periphery of the wrong answers were way of the right answer, which obviously means you are not doing a 2 + 3 or a 2 + 8. Somewhere down the line, we have to join the dots. Like the catamaran question. Could have easily been worked out. I'm not saying you have to know every Tamil word, but sometimes Indian origin words that made into English language. Now, whether you say Jagannath or you say Lord Jagannatho or you say Jagannath in Bangla, it is still Juggernaut in English. So sometimes the words have this simple resonance that can lend itself to some clues or meanings. Inadvertently, my hand movement when I was discussing Grammy became like this. I thought somebody will say Oscar. Then I checked my hand movement. Since I use my hands.
I was going to say Grammy, but
yeah, even if you said Oscar, no problem. You would have missed the question. But Oscar and Grammy were similar lines. You could have said Golden Globe.
Grammy, but
yeah, Golden Globe, BAFTA, Oscar, doesn't matter what you said. What I mean to say, child, is, what do you take from the question? How you take the clue of the question. I couldn't stop my hands. It involuntarily went. Probably it's a bad effect from theater. or an extremely bad effect from debating, that the hands moved along with the question. I thought, then I checked my hands, I thought that's the clue I'm giving to somebody. So there's clues are all over the place. A hand is no clue. If this was a quiz on stage and I'm carrying a cordless, there wouldn't have been a hand movement for that question. Hand is no clue. But I'm just saying, quizzing, there are so many clues around you. 1. 2, please, keep a bridge about current affairs. It's good to know, if sometimes it's like that beautiful paradox of MUM. I love that paradox of going nowhere in MUM. People know so much about Liberia and Ethiopia and Ecuador. And sometimes they don't know what's happening in South Delhi, South Bombay, South Madras, South Chennai, South Calcutta. So everybody knows everything about Ecuador for a position paper. Ask them what's happening in Ashok Vihar or GK1 or Banjara Hills or Dhakuria. They'll say, oh, Dhakuria is not my point. I specialize in Ecuador. God bless Ecuador. So please understand your locality before. So it's very, very important to understand a little bit of Bangladesh, Nepal, SARC, because that's the central to our existence. Last but not the least, on a very, very personal note, thank you, Principal Ma'am. Thank you, Mahadev Birla World Academy. Wonderful set of teachers who have sent visuals in the dead middle of the night, and the PPT got magically made next morning. All unearthly hours when I operate, I usually send elimination round answers, visuals, disturb other people's sleep. I try not to WhatsApp at unearthly hour, but definitely send a mail. So thank you so much, teachers, participants who took part to elimination in the finals, young girls who've conducted this event. You had a lot of agency. And I can see one very important factor. The girls who conducted this event, the tech team, coordinating team, the girl who's centrally coordinating, the teachers behind the scene playing much more than a helping hand to them. They have a lot of agency. That's great. It's a student-led event. Easier to say it, but very difficult to see it. We can always say it's a student-led event. At the end of the day, we know that there is a humongous effort put in by students and teachers. But sometimes the teaching effort shows more. Of course, it shows in this event too. But there's a lot of agency with students. Heartwarming. Heartwarming that you're doing it. Keep doing it. Junior college. You're doing theater, quizzing, debating, classical dance, music. If you're a part of the college society, you're a president, you're heading it, especially the wonderful culture the DU has of college societies giving a lot of agency to children. I can see those seeds here. Congratulations to all the participants. Each time I quiz, I learn more from you than you learn from me. And I hope I keep conducting quizzes because that's learning free of cost for me, not for you. Thanks so much. Thank you, Mahadev Birla World Academy. Every quiz humbles me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of encouragement. They were really inspiring. Our principal, Ma'am Shaha, is here with us today. I would like to invite her to say a few words. Ma'am, if you are here, over to you.
I was just going to run away quietly, but good afternoon. And I think what a productive way to spend a Saturday. Instead of surfing the net aimlessly or only being bogged down by the textbook, I think it's been wonderful to exchange views, ideas since morning. We've debated in the morning. There are Hindi events lined up in Hunkar. We have Vivad coming up and the quiz, of course, with Pornob's stamp of genius marked all over it. I always wonder how that little head of yours can store the remarkable amount of information that it does. You're really a walking encyclopedia, and what we learn from you every year is this remarkable trick of retrieval, because I think quizzing is all about not only storage and remembering, but retrieving and working out. And this is something you've taught us and students over the years, and we're so grateful. It humbles us to learn from you, to have you as a quiz master and mentor unparalleled. Thank you so much to all schools that have joined this platform. My grateful regards to your principals. Thank you so much for making this Saturday different and meaningful. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. It is not easy competing with so many schools and coming up on this platform and quizzing. I thank and congratulate all the participating schools for that. I would like to extend my special thanks to Mr. Mukherjee for being here with us always as a mentor and guide and conducting the event for us. My thank you to our mentor teachers, Ma'am Datta and Ma'am De Haldar, and all the teachers at Mahadevi Birla World Academy for being the backbone of the event. I would like to extend my thank you to the tech team for ensuring that the event ran smoothly. My heartfelt gratitude to our principal, Ma'am Shaha, and our vice principal, Ma'am Ghosh, for allowing us to host Chubb and Sameeksha. Have a good evening. Have a good afternoon to all the participants, and thank you for joining and interacting with us throughout. Have a good day ahead.
Thank
We
you.
may end the live now.
Yeah.